Hey guys, welcome to another video. Just wanted to, oh god, what a time to situate my chair. Okay, so we're just getting into the picks. So far we got two interesting picks. We've seen, I've been seeing a lot of Ogre Magi lately. He recently came out, so I think people just want to try him out. He's a good hero. He's a really strong hero. Right now this is an interesting lineup they've got. Now, if you see my last video, you do know that I feel that picks can be pretty important. Now, not in the same way that they're important in a pro game. In a pro scene, there's a lot more that goes on than just picking strong heroes. There's a lot of things where you need to have a lot of coordination with your picks as well. Not only that, you're trying to sort of play mind games with your opponent and force them to make certain choices with their picks as well by using bans and such. But we don't need to get too much into that. But we'll talk about some of these picks. So far, we got 3 melee. That's a bit of a mistake early on. Just because when you have, the more melee you have during a big clash, you will be stuck into the fight a lot more close. You have to get in close to actually get to do what you do with your heroes. So having 3 melee right off the bat, they're strong heroes if played right, definitely. But as far as clashes go, it's going to be interesting because we do have the single target from Ogre Magi. And we do have a bit of an AoE, and we do have the great team fighting ult from the Omni Knight. And then then again we have the Night Stalker, who's sort of a roaming, ganking, single target sort of hero. So 2 strong single target heroes with 1 team fight support hero. So that's not ideal in my opinion. We do have the Bloodseeker. Interesting pick. You definitely want to pick this hero if you're a very strong last hitter. And we'll see how that goes for him. And we do have an Invoker. So he's looking like he wanted to go mid, but I think he's going to go top. And these are some actually pretty good picks because we got the slow from Venomancer mixed with the Ursa. If Ursa's in there hitting you, it's pretty much over. If you can't escape, if you're slowed, you can't run, then you're done. Not only that, we got the Invoker. He's got Cold Snap. He's got other things like Tornado. He's got the Ice Wall. So there's a lot of ways. He's a very versatile hero, and it's one of the reasons why he gets picked a lot in the pro scene is because of his versatility, because he sort of fills any gap that you may need filled. So then we got Leshrac. Great DPS, great pushing power, as well as the stun. So not much you can say about that. Now, Bloodseeker mid, it's a good choice. Now we also have we have 2 melee and then 3 ranged. So I kind of like that mix-up. And not to mention, these picks are very different. Each one has sort of something interesting to bring to the field. Bloodseeker and Ursa, you think, oh, they're kind of the same. Well, not really. Ursa's sort of a burst melee carry. And he needs to have a lot of either survivability or a lot of mobility. So some people get Blink, some people get Heart. I prefer the Heart. It takes a little longer to farm, but if you do good, if you farm well, or if you... That is cool. I haven't heard that horn in a while. Okay.
The battle begins.
Then you got the Bloodseeker. He can sustain in a fight for a very long time if he keeps getting last hits, if he keeps getting kills. Now, Bloodseeker mid, a lot of people might not know why he's so strong mid. Well, it's because he has the thirst, first of all, and he's got the Bloodbath. So the main thing is the Bloodbath. Every time he kills a creep or a hero, he gets a percentage of their health back as life for himself. So it's not even a lifesteal. It's a restorative ability. So, and against the Night Stalker, that's going to be interesting because Night Stalker is not the best at last hitting. His attack animation is a bit weird. If you're not used to it, you might have trouble last hitting. This guy obviously doesn't, so that's not bad. It's not bad. I do have some action going on down here. We got the Ignite first from Ogre Magi, so that's interesting. I tend to go stun first, but the Ignite has a longer duration, so maybe that's what he was hoping for. The illusions are hitting him up right there. So now this shouldn't necessarily be happening. You have 2 range versus 2 melee. Granted, Ogre Magi's abilities are ranged, so it's sort of like a half range, half melee. If he's up close hitting you, you're doing something wrong. Especially if you're too ranged against them. So Ogre should be afraid to get in close with this kind of lineup, but we'll see how it goes. And then we got the Invoker top against the Pudge and the Obsidian Destroyer. Now, this is an interesting mix because these guys actually can synergize pretty well if the timing is right, if Pudge knows his timing. You do the Astral Imprisonment. If Pudge can time it, he can hook them right afterwards and almost guarantee a pretty good kill. So here we go. Now, Pudge knows his hook is not going to be longer. He actually is in range, but he's saving it. Now, if you notice, Invoker went Sunstrike first. That's, in my opinion, it's a bit of a mistake, especially in a solo lane against these two. You've got the Astral Imprisonment, which will lock him down for up to 4 seconds. So right now it's 1 second, but up to 4 seconds. And then Pudge, all he has to do is get up close and rot, and you can't escape. So Invoker needs to invest in Ghost Walk, because I always feel Ghost Walk is probably your priority, especially in this situation where you have a 2v1. Invoker needs to stay alive. He needs to farm. He needs the levels. That's the biggest thing about him. Now, Venomancer went down. So what we can actually do is just rewind a little bit, see what happened there. So we got the Ogre Magi and the Omni Knight. It looks like Venomancer and Leshrac have healed up after what we saw earlier. So healed up a little bit. And let's see how this goes down. So it looks like... See, that's the mistake there. Venomancer getting in a little too close. But again, the Ignite with its duration. And that was an excellent stun. But Venomancer's staying in too close. He's ranged. He should be at range. He should not be that close. Now, Leshrac did get the kill. However, Ogre Magi got a double kill. Which honestly is a good and a bad thing. Ogre Magi does definitely need the gold. However, he's not a carry. He's a support. He's a range support. Now we got another pause. And, okay. Oops, just getting rid of that. So let's look at this lineup again. Or this lane again, sorry. So we do have the Night Stalker here. He's actually not doing too bad with his last sitting. But you gotta, when you're facing against a Bloodseeker, you need the ability to keep him out of the lane. And that's best done if you're ranged. However, Obsidian Destroyer can just... If OD was here, I think it'd be a much better situation. Because you don't need to mix range and melee up top, because it's 2v1. And Invoker is not excessively potent in a fight where he's not dealing out a whole heap of damage right off the bat. He's not big burst damage, it's more sustained damage. And we got a gank going on. So it looks like no MIA was called or anything. Ogre Magi doing his job. This is what Ogre Magi should be doing. He should be going to different lanes, stunning, igniting, slowing, all that good stuff. And that's good, because the Bloodseeker, if he's left alone to his own devices for too long, he'll just get exorbitantly strong, because all he wants to do is last hit. He just wants last hit. He doesn't want to push. He doesn't want to do anything. He just wants the last hit. Now, Omni Knight left alone. Let's see how that played out.
Tower is under attack.
So we're seeing the Ogre Magi going in. And this is not... and again, you don't see the MIA, so this is going to be an interesting little play here. Just opening with the Ignite, which I think is a good idea because it has a duration, a 4-second duration, but Void being used, I think, a little too early, or maybe a little too late. I think he could have opened with that as soon as he saw Ogre coming, and instead didn't. So, just to... Instead of stacking the slows, because it only gives you the max slow of whichever ability is the strongest, rather than combining the two. So, got an excellent stun from Leshrac. Now, Omni Knight made a huge mistake just being out of position completely. He should have run towards the creeps instead of this way. Now, he did get Repel, which is great, except Edict is a composite ability. So Edict is a perfect ability against an Omni Knight. And composite means that half of it is magic, half of it is physical. So half the damage is actually going through the Repel because it is hitting as physical damage. So that's an excellent spell against an Omni Knight, especially one that runs out into the open where the Edict can get its full effect. I think that was a big mistake on Omni Knight's part. He's a melee. He should just be kind of tower hugging, hanging near the creeps. He doesn't need to be out of position like that, especially with a slow and because you might think, oh, you just repel yourself. Well, if he gets the Gale off, if Venomancer Gales him, he's going to be slowed even while he's repelled. All that happens is he's protected from the magic damage. Now here's another thing, Venomancer making another big... Venomancer, I'm just going to tell you right now, throughout the entire game, he makes this mistake of being too close. Here you go, here goes another stun and death. Venomancer and Leshrac, they make this mistake several times. I'm just going to let you guys know now, because they keep putting themselves up close. And the advantage they have is that they're ranged. They should be using that advantage. And right now they're just not. So now we got a gank coming bottom. Got the Bloodseeker with the invis. And this is always fun to see. Now, first time I saw this, I didn't understand what he was saying, but he was juking with that. He's trying to fool the enemy and thinking he's going top or something. So Bloodseeker gets the kill. And we got Edict going off. We've got Venomancer kind of baiting with his little body. But yeah, Ogre Magi knew. I think he knew there was not much he could do. He was out of mana after he used that Ignite again. There's just not much he could do. So Bloodseeker, he did his job. He went back. And back to farming he goes. So that's what he should be doing. And we got Ursa farming away, farming away. So another kill up top. Let's see how that went down. So we got an excellent hook. I actually remember this fight. There was an Astral Imprisonment from the Obsidian Destroyer, and then Pudge timed his hook perfectly. And one of the things about Hook this game is he does that consistently, which is excellent. Here comes a double damaged Bloodseeker from mid. And no MIA calls. So I don't know if they're on Skype or Vent or something, but we shall see. However, there is a ward. Oh, that's the Dire Side ward. So, and Night Stalker finally coming. So here goes, silence the OD. So OD can't use any of his abilities. And the Sunstrike. Bit of a KS, but whatever. It's early in the game. I don't think it's that important. So Night Stalker could chase him, but the DD is still on him right now. So I think that's a good choice to maybe back off. But here comes Ogre Magi. Getting the Ignite, getting in the stun and then the Ignite. The Ignite to slow him. And will he get another stun off? Looks like the auto attack is enough. So Night Stalker's sort of taking his time to really help out. I don't know what happened there. And we got Invoker kill at mid, so that was interesting. Let's see how that happened. So we got Pudge coming up. And he goes, oh, an excellent hook. Max range hook. That was beautiful, guys. That was beautiful. Now Invoker again. The cold snap. He can't stand there and auto attack. A Pudge. You gotta get Ghost Walk. I keep telling you guys, Ghost Walk. If you're not in team fights, get Ghost Walk. If you're trying to farm and stuff by yourself, get Ghost Walk. So Dire Side has wards. Venomancer just not seeing it in time. He gets completely destroyed. ODs plus the Omni Knight. Obsidian Destroyer just doing his job excellently. He's going Astral Imprisonment, increases the duration. So he did the imprisonment on Veno. Omni Knight got up close. As soon as Veno popped out, he used his heal, did tons of damage, and OD dropped his ult, doing a good amount of damage as well. So that was an excellent play. Excellent play. And Ursa. Still firing away. But he's got his Vlads. So he's got his Vlads. I think he's set. Now Ogre Magi actually waited there for over a minute. Just for this gank. And again, guys. No Ghost Walk. What's he doing with Sunstrike? He's not able to use it. Why does he even have it queued? So, who knows? Now, luckily Dire has the wards, so they are able to see them coming. Night Stalker, what are you doing? Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh. Gale missed completely, but we got the ult from Bloodseeker. And he gets repelled and runs the opposite way, which is actually saves his life. This is a pretty interesting fight. So, got Bloodseeker chasing him down. Leshrac dying to the Omni Knight, which is interesting because Omni Knight doesn't have his degen aura to slow. So, I think Leshrac might have been able to escape if he had just run. Night Stalker did come back after he healed himself up with his urn to try and support a little bit. But here's another mistake, guys. Venomancer. I don't know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the kill, it looks like. But he's got no mana. His auto attacks aren't going to be enough. Venomancer has no damage, nothing. So I don't know what he was thinking. They have no idea that there's a ward here, so Pudge is just sort of hanging out. And Bloodseeker just back to farming. That's what you do. You gank, farm, gank, farm, gank, farm. And if you fail at ganking with Bloodseeker, you need to practice it, because that's one of his biggest strengths. As soon as he gets Rupture out, you just gank. Every time Rupture is available, go and gank. So we got Obsidian Destroyer out here. Looks like he's... I don't know what he's doing. He's roaming around. Mid's missing, but he doesn't care. Does the imprisonment. And well, that was the end of that. I think if Invoker was a little bit more observant, he could have probably come and done something. We got the Roshan from Ursa. As soon as you get Vlad's, you can go and do her. And level 6, you can go and do Roshan with Ursa. And another out-of-place Venomancer. And Leshrac just trying to save his life as best he can. But and then he ends up getting himself killed, so... You can't really outrun a Night Stalker at night, especially if he has phase boots. So, but I think he knew that. I think he was just trying to delay the inevitable. And now we have Ursa. So why can Ursa do Roshan so early on? Level 6 Vladimir's. It's all he needs. Now the main reason is, actually the real reason is because of Fury Swipes. It's more than the main reason. It's the real reason. Every hit does a stack, and each stack amplifies the damage that he deals with his next attack. Each stack does 30 additional damage, so when you're fighting a Roshan, you're stacking it about 10-30 times, and we got an excellent hook from Pudge, hooking the Invis Ogre. Ogre comes out, opens with his Ignite, and it's stun. Pudge again, hooking Ogre Magi. Ogre just loves those hooks. Pudge is going to manage to get away, but Ogre has been ulted by the Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker comes in. Ursa, all he has to do is just right-click a couple times, gets the kill. And unfortunately, that is a 2-for-0 exchange. That was pretty disappointing. Now, Invoker did die, but again, he doesn't have Ghost Walk. Okay, he finally got Ghost Walk. Why he didn't use it, I don't know. Maybe he just queued it up now. Top tower goes down. And this is what Omni-Knight should be doing. He needs a little bit of mana sustain, though. Oh, he does have the Arcane Boots now, so excellent. He's going to be able to stay in the lane for quite a while. Just with that item alone. The Arcane Boots are so good. He could go a Soul Ring if he wanted to. A lot of people do like that nowadays. Soul Ring's becoming more and more popular. I see it a lot more often. Again, we got the Bloodseeker and the Ursa mid. This is a really hard combo to actually deal with. Because you, especially with 4 melee on your team, because you have to get in close. The one thing about Ursa is you don't want to be close to him. He'll tear you open. Got another kill going on bottom. And it's just a 4-man gangbang. Pudge is actually getting those hooks, even though they're short range. He's always hitting with them. He's making sure he's going to hit with them. Now they see this coming. There is a ward here, and I don't know why they're not backing up. So opens with the silence on the... Pudge tries to hook, but the Astral Imprisonment catches him. Ursa's just demolishing the Ogre Magi. Now Bloodseeker did the right thing, I think, by silencing the Omni-Knight. Ursa did have the Aegis, but it's just not enough. You know, you come back to life again, surrounded by 4 guys that want to eat you alive. You know, it's a bit tough. So, excellent attempt at a hook, just barely out of range. The Gale goes off. We got Edict flying. Night Stalker, man, he's loving off on his own. He's loving to run off on his own and put himself out of position a little bit. But you know, I don't know. It's daytime now, so he needs to be a lot more careful. Night Stalker is stronger at night, so Hunter in the night. So during the night, his movement speed and his hack speed are improved, which is pretty good. But during the day, he's just a normal guy. Not much to fear. Right now, they should be pushing their advantage. That's a four-man lane. They can see that Bloodseeker's mid, so they know that there's at least 4 people here. The Ursa's not there. They should have pushed. I don't know what they didn't do. They didn't do that, guys. Omni Knight with the arcane boots, he could have sustained them. Pudge at near full health. Everyone's pretty healthy right now. I don't know why they didn't push. So I think that was a big mistake for the Radiant side. Now we do have the Ursa getting angry at the creeps again. I love the sound of that. It's awesome. Bloodseeker sort of scouting out with his images. And yeah, just farming. Ursa farming. And I think that's the right choice at this point. They do have strong team fight potential on the Dire side. But Invoker is just not having any kind of presence. I think he's relying too much on Sunstrike. I think he's just trying to be, you know, oh, I'm cool, I can hit with a Sunstrike. Whatever. But with the Invoker, he's such a strong utility hero. He needs to be utilized for his utility. And we got a Bloodseeker here in the jungle. He's like, you know what, guys? They're all missing. 4 of them are missing. Let me go into their jungle and farm for a bit. Obviously, big mistake on his part. If you can see, guys, Dire side, they can't see anything going on in here. The Dire do not see anything in this jungle right here. So, I'm sorry, in the jungle here. So, why was he there? What was he doing here? I don't know. If you look on the mini map and you don't see anybody on the enemy team, except maybe you got the ogre top, just not a good idea, especially with this creep wave coming up to this level. It only entices the team to come. You know, when your creeps are pushing forward, it makes you want to go join them, basically. And the Pudge has been repelled. The Pudge, you know, he wanted to say hello to that range creep. They said hello, and now they're saying goodbye. Repel on Pudge is such a good combination because he doesn't take any damage from his rot. Not only that, he's immune to any spells, so he can just get in there, use his dismember, and can't be bothered. You just can't stop him. So it's a great maneuver by Omni Knight. And they catch up the Bloodseeker again. He really loves being on his own. But excellent juke. Predicted that hook. However, he did not predict the Astral Imprisonment. Got the Sunstrike coming in, plus the stun, plus the Venom ult. Venomancer going down, though. This member was too much, plus the ulti from Obsidian Destroyer. Omni Knight going down. The ulti from Venomancer, plus the intense Lightning and Edict from the Leshrac. And Leshrac getting an auto attack in. I think that was the second time we got an auto attack in to get that kill. And he edicts and runs. Such a good maneuver. That edict range is huge. Oh, actually, that was his ultimate. I'm sorry, that was Pulse Nova he activated. So the Pulse Nova range is actually pretty good. The edict range is also pretty good as well. So he just kept him at range. That's what he should have been doing from the start. So at least he learned his lesson. So that's a good thing. And Invoker showing up. And Invoker's got his Force Staff. Interesting choice. I've seen this a few times in some pro games. I think that might be where he's getting the idea from. The theory is, you know, give him as much mobility as possible because he only has one real escape mechanism, which is the ghost walk. He also has the what's it called? The Sonic Boom. Yeah, I think it's called the Deafening Blast. That's right. Looks like a Sonic Boom. So that's what I've always called it. Again, nothing cute. He does have his Invoke ready, but he's not using it. He doesn't really need the Forge Spirit, so maybe he can swap out for something else, but he doesn't. So it's likely that he's just not familiar with the spells. Maybe he just doesn't have the reflexes built up yet to actually swap in the middle of a fight. But that's okay. That's okay. Practice, you know, practice makes perfect. That's what a pub game's for. Here comes Night Stalker. It's a nice attempt at the hook. Not quite enough. Either Leshrac saw it coming or was just undecisive if he wanted to go and just got lucky with the accidental juke. Invoker using the Force Spirits to farm. It's going an Exort build, which is interesting because he keeps dying. Exort build is not a build you go when you keep dying. So I'll explain in a second. So we got Ursa pushing. Fortunately, Fury Swipes does not stack on the towers. And we got 3 teleports coming in. The Force Staff from Pudge, and if Pudge got a Force Staff as well, not a bad item. Force Staff also from the OD. Astral Imprisonment. Pudge is just waiting for that. He's going to dismember. Excellent. And the multicast gets the kill. Excellent multicast. So much skill involved with the multicast. No, I'm just kidding. It's a great sound, great ability when it works, especially in that kind of situation. It wasn't necessary. Didn't need the multicast, but hey, you can't complain. Of course, it would have been nice if he could get that multicast on another time, maybe, as well. So he's catching out the Leshrac. Leshrac Edict. Misses the... Oh no, he gets the stun. Just barely. Got a Sunstrike coming in. The stun from... stun from Ogre Magi. The hook attempt to try and get that last hit. Dismember on the Venomancer. Plus the Rot. And again, Venomancer getting caught out alone. Way out of position. And there's another mistake I think he's making. Venomancer is dying a lot. When you keep dying, you don't need Poison Sting. Poison Sting requires you use auto attacks. He's not utilizing his auto attacks properly. He's not staying out of the range of the enemies. So it's hard to with the Ogre because all of his abilities are ranged. However, 1 level of Plague Ward, that's all you need. And you can scout areas so effectively. Because it does last 40 seconds at all levels. And if you do that, you can scout much easily. You don't have to waste too much money on wards. Not only that, if you max Plague Ward, you can just have fun farming and defending a lane forever. Got another Ursa going for Roshan again. Pudge, no. I'm not sure if the sound is global still. And that was an interesting hook. It looked like it hit Leshrac, but it decided to go for the Night Stalker instead. And again, that Cold Step is just not very effective. And they hear the Roshan going, so here goes Ursa. He's out for blood. Definitely. He's silenced now, so he can't overpower anything, but he uses his abilities already. He can't ult. It's okay. Dismember, plus the Void, plus the Obsidian Destroyer. So much. Pudge getting in that excellent hook. Great timing, but it just wasn't enough. He didn't have the Dismember up. And here goes the Bloodseeker on the Night Stalker. Nice OD trying to save him or use him as bait. And Omni-Knight making a huge mistake. I think he was expecting his team to stay. Ran in just bold-faced and ended up dying. You saw his cast animation going up. Just wasn't enough. He wasn't able to get the heal off. Even if he did, it was only delaying the inevitable. Now, I don't know if you saw, but Bloodseeker did an excellent job of stacking dots onto the Night Stalker. Uh-oh. We'll talk about that in a second. So we got Invoker scouting out with the Invis. And OD getting caught out, but that amazing Force Staff. This is one of the reasons Force Staff is so great. And we got the kill from Pudge on Venomancer. Again, Venomancer, all he needs one level Plague Ward, so he can scout out. Oh, he's got Plague Wards. He's just not using it. We got the ult from Bloodseeker on the Pudge. And the stun for the kill. Well, they got the kill. They probably could have given it to the Bloodseeker. I think that would have been better, but Leshrac, I think, wanted to guarantee the kill. Maybe. And the heat of a battle, it's hard to really coordinate like that. You just react. You want to get the kill. Doesn't matter if you're stealing it from a carry. Sometimes. Just people don't always have that foresight. But it's not important. I think Bloodseeker's doing really, really well. He's staying, getting a lot of kills, assists. Let's see what he's got so far. So he does have 6 assists. He has died 4 times, but look at his last hits. He's got 85. Ursa's got 112. And the only one anywhere near is the Obsidian Destroyer with 82. So I think that shows the what might be coming ahead of us. So a farmed Ursa is a dangerous Ursa. So we got 4 mans pushing bottom. They finally took that turret. And what? The Guardian Angel. That must have been a misclick. I don't know. Maybe. And Night Stalker should have tried to silence. An excellent block with the Plague Wards. First time I've seen a Plague Ward used in a good way. But he's able to phase boots out. Ursa with the Black King Bar. This is the most dangerous thing. This is the scariest thing you could ever see, I think. Got the heal, got the Sunstrike. Not enough. He's been repelled. So it negates the damage. However, Ursa's out for blood. He wants somebody, and it's the Omni Knight. Omni Knight getting killed by the Bloodseeker. Are they going to keep chasing? Looks like they're just going to keep going. Got the Obsidian Destroyer barely escaping, but he got venoed. There's too much poison stacking, so he just wasn't able to escape. Night Stalker, he's going to get away. It's nighttime. He's fine. And let's see. Pudge, it looks like he teleported out. He's got the Boots of Travel. Yeah, 60 seconds, so he just teleported out as soon as he could. And this awesome timer right here, guys. It's so cool with with Roshan. It's only on observation mode, so. And we got the Blitzseeker getting caught up, but he's also got a Force Staff. So it's Force Staff frenzy today. And that Force Staff has done a lot to save some people's lives. It saves Obsidian Destroyer. I think twice. Almost twice. Saved the Bloodseeker now. Uh-oh, here's Ursa getting caught out. He is silenced, but he can still BKB because it is an item. Night Stalker using his ult for some reason. I don't know. It's not necessary, but whatever. Got the stun coming off. Finally the BKB. And the teleport. But is it enough? Oh my gosh. So we got the Dismember. It doesn't do damage through the BKB, but it does disable. So it was enough. It was enough. And we got the multicast. So that was an excellent play by Pudge. And it was an excellent play by Ursa, honestly. Ursa actually did that earlier in the game. Unfortunately, I missed it on my second watch through here. So forgive me for that. But he did that earlier where he teleported out after the stun from Ogre Magi. And that's one of the problems here. You've got one hard CC from the Ogre Magi. Pudge, yeah, he's got his ult. However, he needs to be up close. Again, you know, that's the problem with that. So we've got 4 men coming bottom from Dire side. Ganking, we got the ultimate from Bloodseeker on the Ogre Magi. We got Night Stalker getting hard stun from the Leshrac, as well as the Cold Snap from Invoker. It's excellent play. Great coordination. The Bloodseeker used his ulti and then his Force Staff to get an extra distance. This used to be a really, really, really strong combination. Because I think there was a bug with his Rupture, where it would, because, I don't know exactly what, but it would do more damage than it was supposed to. So that damage got repaired, patched, I mean. So it does do a little bit of additional damage, but it's not an exorbitant amount like it used to be. And they pushed their advantage. Dire side, they ganked, pushed, and that's what they should have done. That's what Radiant needs to do. Radiant needs to start pushing. They're falling behind now. This is starting. They're starting to lose their grip. You've got the Ursa chasing the Pudge, and an excellent Force Staff from Pudge right on that cliff. Great prediction. Now Ursa's thinking he's gone, so he's still chasing. They're trying to find him. They know he Force Staff, so maybe he went down this way. No, where is he? Where is he? No one knows. No one knows. So, oh, there we go. Invoker finally figured it out, but it's too late. It's too late. So, but that's okay. They understood what happened, so they weren't completely confused or baffled by it. Like, oh, he's a ghost or something. But yeah, we do have a lot of Force Staffs. Now, Force Staff's a great item, and I don't know if you need that many, but it's a good item. I can talk about it a little bit. And Night Stalker is ulting. You're probably thinking why it's nighttime. Well, it extends the night, because when he ults, it does cause the night to pause. The actual clock for the day-night cycle to pause, I should say. And it stays night longer. Now we got the Invis Ward plus the Radiance. Bloodseeker just picked up the Radiance. Such a good item on Bloodseeker. Now they kind of know. They know he's here somewhere. They feel the damage. We got the repel on Omni Knight. Bloodseeker not revealing himself just yet. And you know what? Let's go back to that. Because that was an excellent time to show some good kills. So we didn't see too much happen over here with the Omni Knight. He was able to repel away and everything. Let's see what happens over here. We got the Pudge and the Obsidian Destroyer. Now there's both sides have wards here, so they know what's going on. What happens here? Pudge gets excellent hook, an amazing hook again. Kills the Invoker. An ult from OD. They're blocked a little bit. No, they're not blocked. So Venomancer ulting, but it's just not enough. There's no real big team fight going on. Pudge getting ulted, and beat down by the Bloodseeker. So much going on here. So Leshrac getting this done on the Night Stalker. Omni Knight ulting at a weird time. I think he could have ulted a lot sooner, gotten a few more people in there. Not only that, it's just not enough. There's no damage coming from these two guys. So even with the ult up, they should have just run. They don't really have much damage. So now we got the Bloodseeker just demolishing. Now that he's got the Radiance, and I'm going to talk about this. Why is this such a good ability? It's because of Thirst. It does 40 damage. Sorry, it does an additional 60 damage to your auto attacks, plus 40 damage every second. We had Ursa farming here. Oh, excellent, excellent. Let's see what happens here. So as the team fight's going on, Ursa is pushing. Is pushing top, so he's like, you know what? Bloodseeker will clean up. He's got it. Now, Obsidian Destroyer was able to escape that fight. Just barely, just barely. But he's like, I know I can't fight an Ursa. I might be able to slow him down, but I don't think I can fight him. Not yet. But Pudge buys back. Comes back in here. He's like, you know what? I got this guy. Gets an amazing hook right between the creeps with the Dismember, plus the Obsidian Destroyer hitting him with his orb. Excellent damage. Excellent damage. No tower deny, though. No attempt at all from anybody. That was a big mistake, and Bloodseeker coming in. What is Bloodseeker going to do? Is he going to be able to take these guys on? He does have the Radiance, so he is going to be dealing lots of damage. 4 staffs, ults for the kill. Excellent work against the Pudge. Obsidian Destroyer. He's like, you know what? I think I can handle this. I think I can handle this. But honestly, I don't. The ticks from Radiance are still going off. Not only that, Bloodseeker can just silence him. His silence was down, but it doesn't matter. He's got tons of damage. His 4 staff would have been up soon, so he could have gotten away that way as well. Now, Bloodseeker, with his Radiance, if he's pushing a lane and people come to gank him, the Radiance will start to kill off the enemy creeps. And each kill from Thirst gives him life. So he sort of becomes a pseudo-tank in this regard. Just from staying around creeps that are easy to kill with the Radiance aura. And that's really strong. Bloodseeker actually turning off his aura so he can farm quietly, so he doesn't pull creeps, because the actual radius around the Radiance is relatively large. I think it's about half the screen. Now, it seems to be quieting down a little bit. Got Invoker, still no Ghost Walk. He's got the Ice Wall, so I think he's focusing a little bit more on teamwork. But he does have the Forged Spirits. But again, now he's really focusing on being in the team fights, and I think that's a great thing. I think it's a good time. He's realizing, you know, the laning phase is over. Which is probably his biggest weakness, especially when he's 2v1. Has a hard time laning out. We got a Pudge scouting out something there, and they're going for the Roshan again. Pudge has the dust, but will he get revealed? Will he go in? That's the question. Got the Plague Wards going down. And again, Ursa getting both the cheese and the Aegis. Now, if you're wondering what the cheese does, it gives you 100% life back. Oh, no it doesn't. It gives you 2,500 plus 1,000 mana restored. That must have been changed or something? I don't know. From a long time ago. I've never actually looked at the cheese. To be honest, so I never actually knew what it did. I just knew that it was an excellent heal. So it does give health and mana back. Sorry about that. Now we do have Invoker up here. He's buying something. He's buying the Mystic Staff. So looks like he's going probably for, yeah, he's got the Ultimate Orb. He's got the Mystic Staff. He's going for Hex. So he wants the Slice of Ice. Now, Pudge, I think, has the BKB now. No, not quite. But repelling the Obsidian Destroyer, I think, is a great idea. It prevents him from getting silenced, and allows him to get his full potential of Arcane Orbs out. Because he needs to be getting those, he needs to be getting those hits off. Sorry about that. Pudge getting max range hook on the Bloodseeker. That was such an excellent hook. Such an excellent hook. I love that. This Pudge is impressive in my opinion. Ursa hanging out. He's like, I want to kill something. I got the Aegis. I got the cheese. I want to get in there. Predicting Pudge missing the hook, just kind of reaching out into the darkness, you know, hoping for something, but doesn't get anything. So there's a ward here for the dire side. Now Radiance finally pushing. They should have been doing this so much earlier on, before the Ursa, before the Bloodseeker started getting really farmed really well, because now they're just becoming a force to reckon with, especially with the BKB. Especially with the Radiance. I don't know how he farmed that so quick. 30-minute, I think it was like a 28-minute Radiance or something. Really, really good, especially since he got the Force Staff, the boots, and the urn first. So it's really impressive. I also want to point out, too, Venomancer just bought an urn as well, I think a few minutes ago. This is a mistake. I think Venomancer either is just not paying attention, or he's just not familiar with Venomancer in general. Radiance doing the right thing, pushing another turret down, or tower down, I'm sorry. Pushing another tower down. And that was excellent. Excellent idea. But I think they could have pushed a little bit further in. But again, Venomancer, now they're in the shadows. The problem with this, Radiance looks like they're waiting for a fight, so while they're waiting, I will talk about this urn problem. You only need one urn on your team, because it only gives you a charge for a kill to the person with the urn closest to the kill. So, for example, Bloodseeker, he has an urn. He has 6 charges. Here comes the team fight. Now let's slow this down just a little bit. Now, we got the ult coming off a little too late, in my opinion. But we did get the Venomancer just getting crushed. I'm sorry, I meant the ult a little too early. Now we do have a heal coming in. We do have the... Man, there's so much going on. We do have the meteor in coming in. Ursa, though, he is in it. He is not holding back. And there's just so much... The Bloodseeker just focusing hard on one enemy. And that's what he needs to do. But it's not enough. He needs to escape. He gets the multicast off. But the Radiance tick gets the kill on the Ogre Magi, healing him. You saw how much health he got back. That was a quarter of his life almost. And then Ogre Magi going down to some auto attacks. We got the Edict going off. We got the Bloodseeker dying to the Night Stalker. Unfortunately, we got Obsidian Destroyer stuck here. Is it enough? Oh, the auto attack coming out from Leshrac. Omni Knight getting out of there. Night Stalker finally dying. Looks like I think he died to one of these Forge Spirits. And Pudge getting out of there. So that was really, really intense fight. So much going on. If I missed something, I apologize. But so much going on in that fight. So hard to just talk about it all. But it looked like it was in Radiant's favor. They had the high ground. They got the kill immediately on Venomancer, which is excellent. Uh-oh. And the Pudge barely saving his life with the Force Staff. Again, he was dodging the Ursa and ended up getting hit by the Sunstrike, but he managed to Force Staff his way up onto the cliff. So good. He's been doing that all game. So. And the hook just barely missing out of range. I don't know what Omni Knight thinks he's going to do. He has a Manta style for some reason. He's going some bizarre carry build. I don't know if he's trying to troll or something. And another Force Staff. He wants to get out of there. Force Staff is great for a few reasons. It's... Oh, an excellent combo from the Invoker. We got the Scythe of Ice going off, hexing Omni Knight, and then the Sunstrike, and then the stun. So excellent work. Invoker getting in the last hit with his Forge Spirit, I think. Or no, his auto attack, sorry. But we do have a bizarre build again on the Omni Knight. But the Force Staff is such a good item. The reason it's sometimes better than Blink, it's harder to direct because it pushes you, I'll explain it a little bit, it pushes you in the direction you're facing, or the direction your target is facing. So you can use an ally or enemy. So whatever direction they're facing, it'll push them a short duration, or a short distance, sorry. And I believe the distance is 600 units. So it's about half a screen, roughly half a screen, a little bit more. And that's pretty good. The reason the Force Staff is actually sometimes favored over the Blink, one, it's built from other smaller items, so you can get a benefit from it earlier on by just building those smaller items to get the Force Staff. Whereas Blink Dagger, you have to save up the 21,000. And there's a gank coming in bottom. Bloodseeker ulting, and then Ogre getting hexed as well. Night Stalker getting caught in the stun, barely escaping. The ult coming out from Omni Knight and the hook. Omni in there for some reason, so deep, but Night Sucker ends up dying anyway, and then the Ogre Magi ended up dying. He had no choice. Ursa did go down, but he's got the Aegis. He's back up. Omni Knight repelled. He's trying to get out of there. Obsidian Destroyer 4-staffing out. Is it going to be enough? The Bloodseeker 4-staffing to chase. Such an excellent... But then we got the Pudge Hook. Oh my god, the Pudge Hook. Too many good hooks. Too many good hooks. And he is repelled, so he's just going to keep that rod on, keep chasing. Night Sucker bought back. He is back in it. He wants the blood. He wants the Bloodseeker. And he got him with the Void. But then the Scythe of Ice gets hexes him from the Invoker, and that's enough. Ursa getting that last little love tap. And it looks like Radiant side's teamwork is just not enough. They're not coordinating enough. I think the ults from Omni Knight just aren't being timed properly. He keeps ulting either too early or too late. Honestly, I think he's ulting way too early in a lot of instances. He's ulting when people have full HP or no one's getting attacked at all. And that's just, I think that's a big mistake. Not only that, he went the Manta style. Such a strange item. We've got another... They just want to keep going. Ursa just getting in those love taps over and over again. Venomancer actually being very, very effective now with his slows and his ulti. Ursa getting another kill from the Leshrac. Excellent work from this. These guys are just... They're coming together. Utilizing the Ursa, utilizing the slows, utilizing the stuns. I say, Ursa, get him. Sick him. And that's what he's doing. And now they're going top. It is all men on Radiant side down. At this point, it looks like the game is over. And you can actually see on here that it is close to being over. Now, this was such a close game for so long. Radiant side had such a huge advantage that they just did not want to push. I don't know why. It gave Bloodseeker and Ursa time to farm. Bloodseeker getting that Radiance was just... That was the end. I think that as soon as he got that was the end. Because there's so little they can do against it. Especially in this situation when they're pushing at the lanes. The creeps are going to keep spawning near him. And he's going to keep killing them with the Radiance Aura. And he's going to keep getting that life back. It's just a perpetual thing at this point. The Plague Ward's being semi-effective. Tanking a little bit. Could have gotten a little earlier, but that's alright. He's got the Aghanims, so... And you see, there's no charges on the urn. Because Bloodseeker's been up close range. Getting all the charges from the urn. And they smoke just to kind of juke them out a little bit, but it's not enough. They get spotted by the tower, so. And what else have we got going on? Oh my goodness, there's so much going on here. Everyone's spread out. The Bloodseeker ulted. Yeah, man, good game. It was a good game, guys. It was a really good game. It was close for a while, but perseverance proved true. And that was another time. Why ult? Why ult? I don't know. Maybe because the game's over. It doesn't matter. Multicast again. That's the second one in a row. Excellent, excellent. Let's see us. Got the ulti from Omni Knight. Or, I mean, no, not the Omni Knight. The Obsidian Destroyer. Got Ogre Magi getting the kill with the stun. Getting dismembered, and then Obsidian Destroyer. And another multicast. That's three big multicasts. Excellent. They weren't in a row. There was one in the third one. It wasn't a multicast, but third time he cast wasn't a multicast, but that was excellent. Now, Obsidian Destroyer did something interesting. Pudge was dismembering I think that was a Bloodseeker, and Obsidian Destroyer used Astral Imprisonment on him. That was such a strange move, but whatever. The game's over. Not much Radiant side can do now. They had a good effort. They had some coordination early on, but it was in their lanes. They had lane coordination, really strong lane coordination, but they didn't push it to their advantage. They should have kept trying to push, especially with the Venomancer not going to Plague Wards to counter push, because those Plague Wards they're not counter push, I should say, they're anti push, so they can hold back a push pretty well, because it's extra bodies to kill. It's extra damage output. I mean, again, acting like a carry. I don't know what he's doing here. Not sure what he's trying to go for. He's got an interesting build. Obviously, it didn't work out the way he planned. So, and that's the end, guys. So that was a really intense fight between the Radiant and the Dire side. I have to say, when I first watched this, I thought the Radiant side was just going to steamroll them. The problem was I did not see Night Stalker being very effective. And I think Omni-Knight recognized this and said, I'm going to have to go carry, I guess. Because Night Stalker should have been their melee carry. He should have been as potent as their Bloodseeker, slightly as potent. At night, the enemy, the dire side, should have been afraid of Night Stalker, but they weren't. They still went out ganking. They still went out as a team. The Night Stalker just did not do his job. As soon as it's nighttime, you want to gank, 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 gank. If you're low on health, go back heal, then go back to ganking. It's nighttime, use your advantage. Use your advantage. That's the big, big key here. Bloodseeker used his advantage. He ganked, and his ult was down, so he went back to farming. As soon as his ult was up, he'd go and find someone else to gank. Or as soon as one of the runes were up, he'd go and get the rune and gank. He knew every time the rune was up, he went to check it, and it was excellent, excellent work. Ursa, it's Ursa. Can't say much about that. He can solo Roshan. That's that's his big advantage, really, and he used it again. Ursa is easy to stop in some instances. They should have gotten Scythe of Ice, Scythe of Ice, Scythe of Ice, not all these 4 staves. They should have gotten a Scythe of Ice on Ogre, or, excuse me, on Ogre or Omni-Knight, and definitely on Hour Destroyer. It would have done so much more for him because it would have increased his mana pool. He would have done a lot more damage with his Arcane Orb, and it would have made his ulti a lot stronger, especially against all 3 of these. There's 3 Agi heroes. That's another reason why you don't go Agi, because Obsidian Destroyer, he can use his ult and do so much damage because it's based on the intel difference between the Obsidian Destroyer and the targets. And most Agi heroes do not have a good intel gain because they're generally more towards the carries because they get the high damage, the high attack speed, the high armor. So their intel is lower in most cases. Obviously, it wouldn't have worked against Leshrac and Invoker. Invoker has one of the highest intel gains, I believe, in the game. One of the highest. He's a pretty intense hero. He worked his advantage later on. The Invoker did a really good job, I think. Pudge, excellent. I think Pudge did his job well. I think the Force Staff might have been a bad choice late game, but he proved it to be effective. The thing is, Obsidian Destroyer was forced to get the Black King bar. If he would have gone instead of the Force Staff and got the Scythe of Ice, I think they would have been way better off because they could have done 2 things. They could have hexed the Bloodseeker or the Ursa, especially the Ursa. The Ursa is the dangerous one. Basically, the team, they just was like, keep Ursa going. So they kept slowing, they kept stunning, and they just relied on the Ursa getting in there, getting in the right clicks. And they pushed their advantage. Dire side recognized their advantage very, very early on and decided to wait to press their advantage because they said, we have these strong carries. We have, first of all, a very strong ganking hero from Bloodseeker. He utilized his own advantage very, very well. Venomancer fed, but you know what? All you need from Venomancer is that ulti. And he recognized that. He said, I keep dying. The reason he got the urn, probably for the HP, because he gets the 2 bracers. He gives a little bit of health. And he was probably hoping to heal himself a little bit or stack it with his other venoms. That's probably what his plan was. But he recognized, he said, you know, screw finishing my boots. I'm going to get the Aghanims. Because right now, all I am is a mobile ult. And as soon as that ult goes out, it forces the team to scatter. And I think every time he ulted, Omni-Knight would ult. And it was a great way to bait out that ult from Omni-Knight. Because that Omni-Knight ultimate was the only thing that would have kept up the Radiant side. And he didn't use it to his full potential because he kept using it when no one was around hitting anybody. Or he kept using it when his team was pushing forward and had the advantage already. It was a very, very bizarre gameplay. I think either he just wasn't all in, his head wasn't in the game, or maybe he was drinking while he was playing and just got progressively worse. I don't know. Made bad choices later on, but it's all right. It's all right. Night Stalker, I think, is the big issue here. I think everyone else on the team did a really excellent job. Aside from the Omni-Knight, he sort of did good sometimes, not so good sometimes. So it's a little back and forth. I think the Night Stalker was the big issue here. Didn't use his advantage, which is ganking at nighttime. Dire side, well composed at all times. They didn't panic, even with the 2 and 12 and Venomancer. They didn't panic. They just kept pushing the advantages. Every time they had an advantage, they pushed it. And that's what you got to do. Anyway, guys, I'm done rambling on. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. If you liked that I kind of kept up with the fights a little bit more with the replay functions, let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear some feedback. And please share this with some of your friends that maybe aren't too cozy with the Dota 2 gameplay. Maybe they want to learn a little bit more. They kind of want to get some experience without actually putting themselves in too much stress. They can just watch these videos, kind of get a better feel of how things work. Obviously, keep up with some, other guides and stuff like that if you want as well. Don't forget to like this if you liked it, and please subscribe if you want to see my future videos, because I will be putting out minimum 2 videos every week. That I can promise you. My internet will be getting upgraded soon, so I will start doing kind of a let's play thing with my own games. My next video I am going to cast is going to be one of my old games. So if you want to see that, see why you should even listen to me if I am any good at all. So please subscribe and keep track of that. And yeah, thanks guys, and I'll see you later.